Thanks so much for joining us on Well Read, Well Said. We do want to say we're sorry. We are about 15 minutes late to being on the air. We had a few technical difficulties, but it's all good. We're so excited to have you.
We're here now.
Yeah, with us. We're here. We're live on WTOL 11 Plus and YouTube right now, and we're good. We're good to go. So our reading community continues to grow. We are glad to see so many people interested in our book community, and you can join that conversation right now on Facebook. We talk about it all the time, and it again continues to grow. Well Read, Well Said, WTOL 11 Plus Book Club. We do chat with all of our members on here, post videos, ask everyone questions about this month's books and some other things. And we're also working on some other content and ways to kind of provide behind the scenes looks for the people who are in our Facebook group. So you don't want to miss out on that. So let's get to our book. This month, it is A Darker Shade of Magic, and we want to talk about some notable quotes that we liked. Only 3 of us put them in there, so start with Alexis on what notable quote you liked from the book for A Darker Shade of Magic. Can we pull that up?
That up, because I don't remember what I said.
Oh, there we go.
I'd rather die in an adventure than live standing still. That was Lila Bard.
So deep.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
That one.
Just makes you want to like go out and seize the world. And that's kind of how she was in the whole book.
She does. She wants to be a traveler. She wants to be a pirate.
She's a little pirate thief.
Yeah.
Who does what she has to do to live and stay alive, and
she really does
killing people often. But
that's true.
She kind of seizes the day when she has to.
Yeah. Okay, so the next notable quote is from Megan. What's the one that you liked?
I liked "Magic does not make people strong, Rye. Trust me, and you have something better. You have the people's love."
Oh. That was from Kel, who's the main character. And that's at the end of the book, after like a lot of things have happened.
Yeah, and Rye is really very frustrated that he doesn't have a very good or strong magical ability, unlike Kel. And that's where Kel tells him, you've got the people's love, which is better than magic, stronger than magic.
And,
so
yeah, and he doesn't have a good grasp on his magic either. He does have magic
like everybody
capabilities.
Has some sort of magic.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get to mine. And mine is from one of the villains in the book, Astrid Dane. The bodies in my floor all trusted someone. Now I walk on them to tea. Ooh. So I like that one because it was just kind of like, dang, she evil.
Yeah.
It's like, sometimes you think about a villain, this girl's, and it's a female too, and you're just like, oh, she really don't care. She's ready to just chop them off.
Does what it takes.
And then walk on them and have tea.
yeah.
They're bad. There's some bad people.
Yeah.
She's really evil. And you know, this whole book, there are a lot of, I mean, there's evil and then there were gray characters too, where what they did was not good in a sense, but they did it for good. And so
I think a lot of bad characters think they're doing something for good. Look at Joe Goldberg.
in you, I know, right? He feels like he has reasons for what he does. So, yeah. Okay, we'll get to more of the book in just a few moments. We always do a trivia question. Instead of a trivia question today, we have something a little bit better, something that's sure to make everyone laugh, because we know it did here in our newsroom.
Yep.
So we're going to pick romance names. If we were characters in a romance novel, it goes by the initial of your last name, then the initial of your first name, and then your middle name initial. So let's go over what our names would be. We have a graphic for that, so let's pull that up. And Mel, do you want to go first?
Angelique McRoyale.
Is that how you'd say it in the audiobook?
Yeah, it sounds like I'm like very rich and
fancy.
You're the queen in the castle.
She is main character energy for sure.
Yeah.
Angelique.
And then you guys all sound like a bunch of girls who come into the castle. Who come into the castle and do dirty things.
Mine is definitely the wildest of them all. Yeah. Mine is Kiki Cute Liquor. And everyone in the newsroom liked that one too. They were like, yours is what? So yeah, I mean, I think That one fits me, right? With all the all the romance
We know
books.
you like some questionable
Remember,
things.
Alexis
Hey.
revealed that you like dirty books last
I
time.
like
She
what I
likes the weird
like, okay? Kiki cute liquor. That's my ego, my alter ego when
Yeah,
I
your
read.
book ego.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay, Megan, who are you?
I am Heidi McElectra.
You sound like you should be in a motorcycle club book.
Hey.
That would be a good one, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I like motorcycle romances.
I think that ties in with your fantasy genre.
Yeah.
That would be a good one. Okay, Alexis?
Oh, Melody, ample action.
There
You
are
and
some
Kiki
boom booms
Cute Liquor
happening
could
there.
really get after it.
Not just a little action. It's ample action.
Where is Melody Ample Action? What book is she in?
Some small town romance.
Oh, and she gets ample action.
Ample action in that song.
Yeah, she sounds like the character that like lives in the trailer.
No. Everybody stops by.
Yeah.
We're going to see
Exactly.
Melody Ample Action tonight.
We're gonna have a good time.
So how do can people find this so they can find their own name?
Yes,
You posted it in the Facebook
We have it
group.
posted in our Facebook
there it
group.
is.
So this is what it looks like. So you'll just take your last name initial, first name initial, and then middle name initial, and you can create what's your romance novel's name is going to be like.
Ooh, somebody gets, if their last name is T, they get Tickle. Last
Pickle,
name P gets Pickle.
Whisper. Oh, we need someone who has a W.
Kitten.
Whisper.
Or a Z zipper.
Kiki Cute Liquor, I think, tops it, though. I mean,
Yeah.
no one else can. Kiki Cute Liquor, that's a good one.
Ecstasy, look at that.
We did.
Yum ecstasy.
Oh gosh, we did this around the newsroom too, and everyone was laughing
was
for a
fun.
good 30 minutes. So it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so we
Ooh,
want
someone gets to be itchy. You would not want that in your romance name.
Oh no, that's not Megan.
That's
Harris.
up to the doctor if that's in your name.
Okay, so we talk
You're
a
gonna
lot
need some
about
cream
how
for that.
Megan has multiple books, and we like to call her out on her book collection. So Megan has made a nice video for us to show us her
Oh, did you show off the
collection.
book collection?
Yep.
Oh boy.
Hi, I'm Megan from Well Read, Well Said. If you've watched the show, you know I love books. And I have what may be a red flag. I tend to collect the same book just in different formats. For example, I have The A Court of Thorns and Roses in paperback with these new covers. I also have it in hardcover with these special dust jackets, which I absolutely love. And I also have it in the original cover, which is out of print and you can't find anymore, in paperback. If that wasn't bad enough, I also have it on my Kindle and I have it on audiobook, because why stop at one when you can have them all?
Okay, so that was Megan talking
We couldn't
about
hear
the
her in here. So
Accord-
what you
yeah.
have? Tell us all the versions because we couldn't hear it.
So I have the paperback with the new covers. I have the hardback with the special dust jackets. I have the original covers in paperback, which you can't get those anymore. They're out of print. And then I have it on my Kindle and I have it on audio.
The same series.
And it's the same
Of
series.
5 books.
How many pages
Five
was the
books.
one?
It's a,
It's a lot.
The last one is
That
like
was
800
thicker than the
pages.
Bible.
it's a
It's a Bible of sorts.
Yeah, it is. It's
And
a
you've read all
fairy
that?
Bible.
You've
yeah,
read all
I've read that.
And you've read them all?
Uh-huh. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
fantasy.
it's my-
they're romantasy.
romantic.
Yeah, it's my favorite series, and that's what I read to kind of reinvigorate like my love of reading and got me back into fantasy.
So there were a lot of boom booms
how much
in
do you
those
think you
books,
spent
is what you're
on
saying.
Oh, Megan spent some monies.
Yeah.
Spent some monies.
Yeah, yeah.
On
Those
some
aren't
books.
cheap.
No,
You know,
are they
I
going to be
told
worth
you
something
guys.
though? That one stack?
ones, yeah.
The one that are the original covers that you can't find anymore, you could probably get a lot of money for.
And Megan, you're actually really funny because when someone in the newsroom wants to borrow a book, you're like, "Oh, I'll give you this one because it's you can, like everyone can get this one." And she'll say, don't bend it. You got to make sure that you
No dog
don't
ears.
dog-ear
Don't
the
dog ear.
text.
Yes.
Don't look at me.
Mel's a dog ear.
Mel won't borrow from Megan.
If you get Mel to borrow that one, I'd be impressed.
Well, our book this month is fantasy, so we'll get to that. We do have some housekeeping items, though, that we want to talk about for our show, Well Read, Well Said, that we want everyone to know.
We had to have a little come to Jesus
we did.
about the book club.
About because we're going to be honest with you, some of these genres we were not feeling. So
And we felt like maybe you weren't feeling them too. So it's really for all of us.
And that's what we strive to do here, is to be honest and to do things that we like and we know hearing from you guys like. So the housekeeping, we have new genre list that we're going over. We've narrowed it down to the most popular ones: fantasy, thriller, true crime, romance. I think that's all of them. And then we now also are choosing the books a little bit differently. We are not going to have the spinner. We are going to choose it between the four of us. And then if we cannot come to an agreement, we have a tiebreaker vote with our director and or camera person, Shay and Tim, if they...
Because Shay's been reading all the books,
yeah,
right?
Shay has
Yes.
been reading the books.
Okay, so she's qualified.
Yeah, if we have to have tiebreakers, that's how we're doing that. And we're also changing our rating system. We talk a lot about DNFing books. We haven't done that yet, but if we
Well,
get
one
to
of
the
us
point-
has.
That's true.
We'll get to that.
We will get to that. So we've decided that we feel it's the most honest for all of us. If we are not liking the book,
feeling
we're not
it.
feeling the book,
Don't force
we
it.
are going to DNF the book, and we'll explain why each person or all of us or whatever DNF that book. So going to the DNFs, we asked people if they DNF'd books on our Facebook group, meaning did not finish. A lot of people actually weighed in on this poll, so here's what you all had to say. 51% of you who voted
Oh, wow.
said yes, you do DNF books, meaning if you read it, you get in there, you're not liking it. So that's more than half the people. Some people, 29, said sometimes, 29%, and then 20% said no.
Well, that makes me feel better.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who DNF books. It's like what Megan says.
Yeah.
If you're not liking it, don't waste your time. There's other good books out there. So
Right.
And I think, you know, it's kind of hard to be in a book club because everybody likes to read what you want to read, and there's only so much time.
Right.
Your free time. So if you don't feel like you're connecting with the book, and this is like the first time I've, maybe not the first, but like consciously said, I'm not finishing it.
So we'll get to you first, our ratings of the book, and we'll go with Melissa's.
I didn't hate the book, and Alexis and I think, talked about this. Like, I think when it was harder to pick up the book and be like, okay, let me get back into this. But then once I did get into it. It just wasn't exciting to pick it up. It's like working out. Like,
Once you do it, you feel good about it.
like
but
you know you need to do it, but then there's
Getting
actually
there.
doing it. And then once you're doing it, yes, you feel the sweat. It feels good. You're glad you're doing it.
And you also said that you were on vacation and you just were busy.
I just wasn't
and-
feeling
yeah.
this book.
Yeah.
And I did it. Listen, I thought that the Mormon book was way worse than this book. I actually found some entertainment in this book. It just, I don't know if it hit me at the wrong time or whatever, but it was a DNF for me.
Yeah, so Mel, she didn't give any
I
stars.
got to like
on this
40% of the
rating.
book.
Yeah, so she got about
Which I feel
halfway.
like you gave it a chance.
Yeah, she did.
And the last book I was struggling with, and you guys were like, just get to like 50. And then I kept going and going, and then finally, what was the last book?
Beautiful,
The Beautiful
Ugly.
Ugly.
No, wait, we liked that one.
yeah,
Yeah.
Was
I
it
like
the
that
one before
It was
that?
the one before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so next is mine, and we'll just actually pop up the graphic and we can leave it up for what we did it. So Mel has no stars because she did not finish it. Mine is a 3-star. I think for me, it was just kind of middle of the road. I liked it, but I didn't. For me to give a 4-star, I have to like want to pick it up and read it all the time. So I gave it 3 stars. I really loved the story. I loved the characters. I'll get into all of that. But I'm doing 3 because I don't know if I'd ever read it again. And I don't know if I'll pick up the second book and continue the series. So that's why I gave it 3 stars. Megan?
So I also gave it 3 stars. And for me, this is the first book in a series. So there are 2 other books in this. And I typically rate the first book in a series on the lower end because you're setting up the world, you're setting up the characters, the magic system. It's a lot to learn. Whereas books 2 and 3, you already know the magic system and the world, and you kind of just hit the ground running. And I thought in moments where I could sit down and read a chunk of the book, I was like very into it and invested, but I didn't have a drive when I would set it down to go to bed or go to work or what have you, to be like, I need to get back home so I can read this book.
That's
and I
why you
feel,
gave it 3.
yeah, and I feel like 4 and 5 stars, the book becomes my whole personality, and that's all I want to do is sit there and read this book.
Same.
And that I didn't feel with this book.
Yeah. Alexis?
If I could have given it 2.5, I would have. I was between a 2 and a 3.
So you went up.
Yeah, because I mean, because the book itself, it was entertaining. I liked the characters. It kept me engaged when I was reading it, but I had that same feeling of like, I didn't need or particularly want to pick it up. It took me a long time to read, and I'm usually a pretty fast reader once I like something, so.
And I wonder what like the author could have done to, you know, if all 4 of us had that opinion on the book, which it sounds like we did, about the picking up of the book, then Shay, did you feel that way? Did you feel that way about picking up the book?
Shay did
She found
too.
it hard to pick up the book.
Yeah.
So I feel like there could be something maybe different with the writing that
Maybe
I
it
don't
was
know.
the
Is there like
pacing.
something
There's
that
a lot of
authors
There's a
do?
lot of setup, which I get.
And
you
I
need
think
that
that's part of
'cause it's it's a
fantasy.
series. So I think the next book will probably like start right away with like action.
Yes.
Are you going to read the next ones?
Yeah, but I don't feel like that sense of urgency to dive right into it. Like, I've already read 2.5 books since I finished this one.
Same.
So I don't feel a pressing drive to, I need to know what happens. I need book 2 now.
Yeah. Okay, we got to move on and talk about the actual book and the setting and the characters. So we wanted to start first with the Londons. In our very first episode, we talked about how there's 4 Londons. There's red, white, black, and gray. I wrote them like this on our graphic: red, white, black, and gray, because that is how in the world they're set. So red is on top, and you have to jump to white, and then you have to jump to black, and then you have to jump to gray. So you have to go through all of these Londons to get to a certain one if you're an Antari.
So I think this is, you know, if you're putting down the book and not picking it up very often, then you're going to lose like what the Londons are and what they mean and the differences. So that was something that I did struggle with.
I will say I didn't fully understand the stack of the Londons and why they were called that the way they were until like 60% of the way in, when Lila's jumping through the Londons and we're seeing it in her eyes. Because I feel like when you see it through Kel's eyes, he's so used to it that he's glossing over details and glossing over things, whereas Lila's fresh eyes, fresh perspective, and she's seeing this all for the first time. So that's when it really started to click with me.
Did you like the Londons? Did that confuse you, Alexis, at all?
It confused me until he explained it to her.
About all of them?
Yeah.
And Lila was really funny, too,
like
because
how
she's like,
she
there's
was-
Dole London, Cal London, Dead London, and whatever.
And then, like creepy London or
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
yeah.
So how she and I related to that, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I did really like all of the characteristics that were given to the Londons. Like Red London to Kel is home, and he smells like flowers, and it has all of the or most of the magic. It's a healthy London. Whereas White, like the color is drained from White London to represent White London. He said it smells like blood to him, I think, is what I wrote. The world is starving. It's an unstable empire. Black we don't know anything about. And then Gray London smells like smoke to Kel. So I really liked that and was able to kind of resonate with that when I was reading the book. So I like the Londons. I like the world. I think it's really interesting having different Londons stacked on top of each other.
I'm interested to see if I do read the second one, if they're gonna stay
in the
red
Londons.
because they kind of ended there.
I want them to go to black. I want to see what's
Are
in Black
these two
London.
gonna have boom booms? Do you think?
Yes, eventually.
we think
See,
so.
I
You don't think it's gonna be
She
Lila?
think it's gonna be a
wait,
closed
okay, wait, hold
door.
on. We gotta go to the characters. So our first character is Kel. We're also gonna maybe talk about Lila, Holland, Astrid, and Athos Dane, and then Rye. I call him
It's Rye.
Oh, it's Rye.
In the audiobook, it's Rye.
It's Rye. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about Kel and Lila, the two main characters.
characters.
Lila was my favorite.
She's cool.
She's spunky.
Yeah, I just liked her humor. I liked how determined she is. There were a lot of big reveals about her character at the end that
Yeah, her eye.
that I didn't see
What
coming.
happened with her eye?
She,
Has, like, a
you didn't
fake-
finish it.
yeah,
she has
she
a
has
fake,
fake
eye.
eye.
Like, did she? Is
And,
she
She might
part-
have already been an elf.
Who knows?
before.
Yes.
We don't
We don't
know.
know.
We don't
and,
know.
And
Well,
the other
I think
thing
it
with
makes sense
Lila,
because the magic, she was very familiar with it.
well, she actually has
Yeah.
magic.
Yes.
She does.
That's what it says at the book.
She definitely has some magic. That she
The
has
girl
tapped
has
into
power
it
in
yet.
her, unnurtured, untended, undawakened.
So they're going to find in the subsequent books that she was already one of these little elves in
But-
another place,
so
and
I'm
she
questioning-
had amnesia, and
is she the Antari or is
and
she
she
just
is, but she was like
magic? Mel's got her
given up for
theory hat
adoption or
on.
something, and
maybe
given
No,
away
we
in
don't
another
know.
and
land.
they took her to Grey London.
Right.
Maybe her and Kel have some. They knew each other in a
Or
past.
they could be getting romantic, but then they find out they're really brother
what I
and
was
sister.
thinking.
Okay, so I
God.
think for sure Kel and London are Kel and Lila are going to be
Hooking
the,
up
the love
together.
story.
See?
But Megan doesn't
She thinks
think
there's
so.
gonna be a closed door.
No, I think there's going to be a love triangle between Kel, Lila, and Rye. And I
because
think
at the end, Rye was like,
he
"Can
got
I
all
have her?"
flirty with
Yeah.
her, and she was blushing, and I think she'll end up with Rye.
So then does she have to figure out if she wants to still be in the magic world or be in the...
She could be royal because
Right.
she knows the common she doesn't know the common tongue. She knows the tongue spoken by royals, which
is
is
English.
normal, just English.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And
that's
she made.
it. Could
she
be.
doesn't want to go back. When she left Grey, she's like, I'm not. I don't want.
Yeah.
No.
When she
reason to be
left on
there.
her boat as a real pirate.
Yeah, she got a boat.
Okay, let's briefly talk about Holland and Astrid and Athos Dane.
I didn't like Holland at the very beginning, and I grew to have sympathy for him.
Oh, for
so
sure.
bad for him.
Yeah, for everything that Astrid and Athos put him through with the mark and basically controlling him. And so when he, spoiler alert, dies,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, he's at peace now. He's out of his misery. Like,
Well, and he let Kel do it, but he
Yes.
couldn't think about it. Otherwise, Astrid and Athos
know.
would have known because they're in his mind.
He
Right.
just left like a little gap and on purpose. And
Yeah,
Kel took it.
I will say I loved Astrid and Athos. They were so evil, so conniving, but man, they were some good villains.
They
Just
were
the things that they said, the way that they controlled people. I actually think Astrid is worse than Athos. I think she was just crazy.
yeah.
Now you guys are making me want to finish the book.
She
You
was,
should.
I mean, she
It gets-
literally
we told you it
took
gets good. We
told you it got good.
Ray's body. She was possessing him.
Yes.
They have this the necklace, and she can take over anybody's body.
And she was controlling the king and the queen. She was controlling Rye. She was controlling his guards.
Yeah.
And then at one point, at the very end, she's controlling Lila.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's crazy.
Yeah.
I think if this had been a TV show, I think you would have
loved
been
it.
into
Okay.
it.
I do think, I will say, one of the things that was really hard for me, which it's my personal preference, I don't prefer third person point of view writing. I like first person point of view. And so that's part of why I gave it a 3-star, is because I had a hard time figuring out who,
Like every chapter.
whose point of
Yeah.
view I was
Who are we
in
listening
until
to?
I'm like paragraphs through the chapter.
And then some of them were like you didn't know who they were on purpose.
And they weren't the main characters
No.
either.
Why would
Some
it-
of them were like
I
the
don't
guards.
understand why an author would want you guessing about that for multiple paragraphs, because I would want someone. I think, could that be part of the reason why it's
couldn't
tough to
connect
pick
with
up?
it. 'Cause you're
It
not-
could be. It
yeah.
could be because I know for me, especially in the fantasy books that I read, I like a first person point of view, which limits the point of view when you're reading. but I like having the reveals too.
And
with the
being
first
in
three.
that
Connect more with the
person's
character.
mind and their thoughts.
Okay, let's quickly talk about the magic in the world. We have the Antari and the stone. We'll touch a little bit on the Dane stone, but I think Antari and the stone are kind of the biggest ones, with the Antari being what Kell and Holland were, and they're the only two that we know of
Yeah.
Supposedly.
in this world.
Which they're really powerful.
Do we think Lila not having an eye means that like
Yes.
she was an
Yes.
Antari and it was
they're
taken from
taken
her?
from-
They're
Yes.
hiding
Yeah.
her,
Now,
or something like that.
Are these Antares, are they like hundreds of years old?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
So we don't know Kell's backstory. He doesn't
even know.
Yeah, he doesn't remember or know who he is,
Oh,
where
then
he
he
comes
definitely
from.
is,
Yeah, and they said that the longer that the Londons are cut off from each other, less Antari are popping up. So because all of the Londons are cut off, there's not as
Right.
many.
And so now that we've reached the end, Holland is dead.
Yeah, so
Kell is a
only
known
Kell.
Antari, and we think that Lila is an Antari. So that, or something. So right now, Kell is the only like known person,
Known one.
Antari in play right
And
now.
he sees himself as like a possession of the Red London.
Royal
He's
family.
part of their family, but he's not really part of their family.
Yeah.
Like they have him.
Right.
They
Okay.
got him.
He
at
knows
some
he's
point.
like their little tool.
Yeah.
The stone, real quick, we only have 1 minute to get through this stone. So just
The stone's
it's
from
crazy,
Black London,
right?
and it's really powerful.
It's crazy.
yeah.
And
can make
anybody
people.
can use
Yeah.
it.
Anyone
Anybody can
use
pick it up, and it like goes in you, and you're.
and it feeds off your blood, and it's real magic.
It's like a source of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we know it's
controls
from
the
Black
magic.
London because Kell wants to take it back there to get rid of it.
Right.
He's
Well,
trying
we
to.
think
He's
Kell took
trying
it back
to.
there. Did it really
Wants
go
to.
back there? I don't know. And
Okay.
it's the full stone now too, because
Yeah.
Astrid
Yeah.
and Athos
Had
had the
a
other
half.
half
Yeah.
of the stone.
And that's how they were.
And that's how they were in control. Was Astrid and Athos had the other half of the black
So
stone.
that's why they sent Holland to go get it from
Kell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. That's the wrap up of our book. We can keep going, but we can't because we have to pick our next book. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're going to go to a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, time to choose our next book. We have the Toledo Library here for choosing the book for next month. Stephanie, thanks for
Welcome
coming.
back.
Welcome back.
Back, yeah.
Okay, so it's time for our spinner for our genre, okay? So we're going to
Exciting
play
part.
that. We're going to figure out what our next genre is. Here we go. What is that?
mystery thriller.
Thriller. Okay, so that's what we have.
All right.
So Stephanie, you've got our list for us.
Yes.
For the mystery thriller. We
Yeah.
we did actually already do a mystery thriller too once, right?
Beautiful Ugly
Beautiful
was?
Ugly.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, nice.
so
Yeah. Yes.
Which we like that one too.
Yeah, so the 3 books that we suggested are Razorblade Tears by S.A. Crosby, The Maidens by Alex Michaelides, and the 3rd book is I Have Some Questions for You by Rebecca Mackay.
okay.
Can you give us a little synopsis of
yeah.
each one?
Sure. So of the 3, I've actually read one of them, Razorblade Tears by S.A. Crosby. It's a fantastic book. It's an emotionally engaging thriller about 2 former ex-cons. Their sons are a married couple, and they've been murdered. And so they team up for a quest of revenge. And along the way, they kind of address their own prejudices with their just their life experience. So. And then The Maidens is sort of like a dark academia, spellbinding tale of psychological suspense. So it's like incorporates Greek mythology. There's some murders happening on a campus, that kind of mystery thriller. And then the 3rd book is I Have Some Questions for You. That was actually one of our Books on Tap book club picks earlier this year. A really popular book. The protagonist, she's a film professor and podcaster, is forced to confront a series of violent events in her past when she's invited back to teach at the boarding school she attended when she was a kid. So nice little mix
I
there.
think I like that one.
Yeah.
What one do you want? We changed it. It's us 4. You have to decide now. So I think I'm going to do I Have Some Questions for You.
That's my vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't need a vote because we already.
You're already awesome. Whatever you
What do you like, Alexis?
I was
We'll
gonna say
still
the
give you
maidens,
vote.
just because I've seen the maidens like all over the place, and it's on my list that I wanted to read.
I tried reading that and I DNF'd it. I didn't like it.
Okay.
What didn't you like about it?
It was to me, very boring and I know.
I love that honesty, though. Yeah.
Hey, we're honest here. That's
We
what we
have
are.
to be honest, right? So you thought it was boring.
Yeah, and I thought it was like this. It was just slow, and I didn't have very much interest and didn't want to keep picking it up. So I said, I'm gonna DNF it.
That's allowed.
That's fair. That's
Okay.
fair. Okay, so our next book is I Have Some Questions for You. Who wrote it?
Rebecca Mackay.
Rebecca Mackay. All righty. Thank you, Stephanie, for
Thanks
being
so much.
here.
Yeah, good seeing you all again.
What are you reading right now, Stephanie?
Oh, great question. Right now I'm bouncing between two books. Heartless by Elsie Silver.
I've all read that.
Yes, I have been bouncing between lots of books, and I keep coming back to that Chestnut Spring
Yes.
series.
Oh, so
Love me a cowboy romance.
Yes.
And then the second book is Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan.
Oh, you have
I
two
love
romance
Ryan.
books
Yes.
right now.
And Kennedy's coming to Romance Con in November, right?
Yeah, she is one of our authors that's participating in Romance Con this year. So
I went last year. It was very fun.
we're really excited
I feel
about
like we need to
the event.
do a well-read, well-said on the road at Romance.
Romance.
At Romance
Oh,
Con.
that's
That
a
would
great
be a
idea.
good idea.
Let's ponder that.
Because you know we all like our
Yeah.
romance books. So we do. Okay, we have
Good
mystery
cowboy
thriller.
romance.
I'm a girl for that, so yeah.
All right. Thank you so much,
Thanks so
Stephanie.
much.
We
Thanks so much.
appreciate it. We hope you guys liked our deep dive. That's all we've got for our episode, and we will be posting what our book is. Our next episode is August 5th, so next Tuesday, a week from today, it'll be live on WTOL 11 Plus and on YouTube. Bye.